Hi, and welcome to Business Matters on John Gary TV. Today we are streaming live on johngarytv.com as well as on YouTube. So thanks for joining us if you're watching us live. And if you're not watching us live, that means you're a John Gary TV subscriber and you're watching this from our library. So thanks for watching. Business Matters is a series that we've been running for, almost 3 months now. And it's designed for fitness and Pilates business owners and instructors, people who might be thinking of opening their business or even who run your own business within a business. Basically, I'm a business expert trying to help all of you fitness and Pilates and yoga and anybody in the industry, experts, do what you do. And for many of you, the business side of things is the most frustrating and the least fun for you. And it can take away, at its worst, it can take away from what you love to do, which is to help people get more fit and achieve their fitness and health goals. So before we get started, I'd like to hear where you are. So just in the comments, type where you're watching from, if you're watching live, if you own a business, what kind of business is it? And then what's your biggest business challenge, or if there's something that you just have a question about. You can add your questions to the comments and I'll answer them at the end of today's show. Or if you want to email us at info@johngarytv.com, then we'll definitely make sure to follow up with you. And perhaps this will be a topic for a future show. So as I said, this is the continuation of this series called Business Matters. Last week we covered online marketing, which was kind of the capstone for our marketing segments. And this week we're actually capping off the last several weeks of the Business Matters series with our top 10 checklist for studio business success. So this is really a greatest hits of things you want to make sure that you're looking for or doing in running your business. So let's jump right in. All right, so number one for our top 10 checklist of studio business success is to know your clients. And I mean this literally and figuratively. Of course it helps if you know your clients and know their names and your team know their names, but really what I mean is, who are your ideal clients? What's your target market? Be really specific. It's tempting to open up and say, I'm open to anybody who wants to sign up for my classes or anybody who wants to train, but that really doesn't help you get the right clients for you. Really doesn't help you market to the right people, and it's hard then. So what you want to think about is, for the people who are going to come to you, why do they come to you? Like, what's the whole point? Is it that they want to become more flexible? Do they need to get back into shape? Are they in shape and they just want to stay in better shape? Do they come to you because it's a great place to go that isn't home or work? So why are they coming to you? Why would they come to your place? And then more importantly, what are they going to get out of it? So what's the whole point? What's the customer benefit? Why should they pay you money to do whatever it is that you're offering? What will they get out of it? And ultimately this leads to, what's your value proposition? So your value proposition is essentially something you come up with where you consider, who are the people that you are marketing toward? Who are the people that will get the most out of what you have to offer? What is it they're going to get out of from what you offer? And why is that valuable to them? Why is that more valuable to them to go to you or do the service you provide than to go anywhere else? So that leads to knowing your business. So number 2 of our top 10 checklist is to know your business. What do you do? What do you offer that meets the needs of the target market? And that may sound kind of obvious or redundant, but really if you think about it, you might be targeting a market, or in your mind's eye, you may want to target a market that actually isn't really well suited to what you do. So I'll use an example for Pilates. In our experience owning a Pilates studio in Long Beach, California, we tend to attract people who are more in their mid-30s to mid-50s. And of course, we have a lot of age ranges, younger and older than that, but that's really where we attract it. So I might want to have a lot of college-age people come and take Pilates because that would bring a ton of energy and it might fill up my late-night classes. But really, that's not the target market for what we offer. So know your business. Know who's going to be the best fit for what you're offering. And then, what's unique about you? There are a lot of places where fitness is really impacted, where there are just rows and rows of Pilates studios, or rows and rows of CrossFit, or rows and rows of name your fitness regimen. So what makes your business different? What's unique? And part of that is, what do you do better than anybody else in the world? So what can you be absolutely expert at that completely differentiates you from your competition? Part of that could be your team. So number 3 for The top 10 checklist for studio success is hiring the right team. And it's, of course, you want to have the right people that are the right fit, but you've got to know, what makes them the right person or the right fit. So think really high level about your business, about what's your mission, what's your vision. Then you hire people that fit that. What's your culture? And actually, what do you want your culture to be? So you might have a really crappy culture right now based upon some combination of people who work there and clients or who knows what. But so you might have an idea for what your ideal culture is, and you can hire towards that. In our example, our mission is to make fitness fun. So we really aim to hire people that are fun, a little bit quirky, people who can kind of laugh at themselves. That makes it really fun. It also makes it really fun for clients. And when you're hiring, of course, we want to have people that are subject matter experts. We need people with the right certifications and experience, but personality can trump talent. And I don't mean to hire people who aren't qualified or who don't have the certifications that you really need, but you really want to make sure that you hire the right personality, and you may have the tools at your disposal to help train them up the way that you want them to be, or send them to certain certifications if they're lacking that. Okay, number 4 for our checklist for studio business success is to get new clients in the door. Again, seems kind of obvious, but you've got to bring people in the door to keep the doors open. Marketing does this, so we have a few different episodes on Business Matters on marketing, and an important aspect of that is to have a really compelling introductory offer. So when I talk about a compelling intro offer, for a class-based business, that's typically about half off of what your unlimited membership would be, or some number of sessions people can take during a month. So you might offer a 50% discount on a 1 month. For an appointment-based business, if you're mainly private training, then you might do something like 2 or 3 sessions at 50 to 25% off. Something that's compelling to get people to come in the door. The second thing you want to think about in getting new clients in the door is they're going to go to your website before they come to your door 90% of the time. Sure, some people may walk by and they'll kind of wander in and see what you're all about, but most people will go to your website. So you really need to look at your website from the perspective of a new client who knows nothing about you, not from the perspective of how you want to have your visuals be. You want to make sure that they can find everything that they would want to know. What's your introductory offer? Make that front and center. What's your pricing? How do they find you? Are there any policies they need to know? Do they have to do an orientation? Like, what does that entail? All of that kind of information that new clients need to know that your existing clients don't care about, they already know it, but new clients are what your website is designed for. You also want to know in terms of new clients, and you want to track where they came from. So was it from referrals, from other clients? Was it online? Did they see your sign or any kind of other visuals or signage that you have? Don't miss out on signage. That can be your most cost-effective way to get new eyeballs, and an empty window is a wasted window. So don't miss out on that. Those 3 things should comprise 90% of how people find you. Number 5, we're halfway there. So number 5 on our list of 10 is to measure your year-over-year retention. And I just used a big word, retention, and oh my gosh, I used the word measure, which means I'm talking about numbers. You gotta love your numbers. So here's how you measure year-over-year retention. You look at people who bought something from you, and I would say bought a service from you versus a product. If somebody buys a retail item, that's not necessarily a customer that's gonna come back year over year. But measure the people that bought a service from you in 1 year. So let's say in 2016 they bought a service, and then you would measure in 2017, did that same customer also buy another service? That's year-over-year retention. In this industry, we've got a lot of benchmarks, and the numbers are scary. So if you're in a class-based business, or if you have a class-based business, you can expect to lose 50 to 90% of your clients every single year. Really, really scary number. So you've got to work really hard, really hard, be the best at what you do, have the best goal retention of 50%. You're still losing half your clients every year. It's a little bit less scary in an appointment-based business. People tend to stick around because there's more of a one-on-one connection. So you can expect to lose around 30 to 40% of your clients. So your goal should be to keep 90% in an appointment-based business and keep 50% in a class-based business. My point is, you've got to know your numbers. You've got to know where you are so that you can take steps to improve them. There are also a couple other things you want to look at if you don't like your numbers. Some things you can look at that could point to why they're lower than you want them to be in terms of, or higher than you want them to be in terms of losing clients. One would be to look at the frequency of visits. So how often are they coming to your studio? How often are they frequenting it? If you're a Pilates studio or if you primarily do private training, then 4 times a month is actually a pretty decent benchmark. That's a decent number. That's about once a week. If you offer a class-based business that is pretty much anything other than Pilates, although many Pilates studios have high frequency as well, you would have more like 6 visits a month or more. The higher the better. The more often people are coming to your studio means that you're a bigger part of their life. They're probably referring more people to you, and they're less likely to leave. You also want to look at no visit after first visit. So if somebody new comes to you, they come one time and they never come back, or at least in that year they don't come back, that's kind of like a canary in the coal mine. So if your new client experience isn't leading people to stick around for another visit or another class, then you want to figure out what that is and fix it. That actually segues nicely into our point 6, which is new client experience. So what is your new client experience? Let's start with the website. Is it really friendly for new clients to figure out, easy and friendly for them to figure out who you are, what you offer, and what your introductory offer is? I'm going to say that about 5 more times during this video episode, so just get used to it. Have a compelling intro offer. The second thing you want to think about is when they call your studio, when they come in, how friendly is the front desk team? How helpful is the front desk team? How patient are they with answering the same questions every day over and over and over again? You don't want people to roll their eyes when somebody's asking them a legitimate question that's the first time they've ever asked it, and the front desk team member has heard that 1,000 times and is thinking to themselves, that's a stupid question. So you don't want that. That'll drive people away. Do you have a new client advisor? So one great option is to have somebody in charge of connecting with new clients and helping shepherd them through your process, being their connection through their introductory period, advising them on what the next steps are, answering questions about class formats, about instructors, personality fits, all of that. That really helps keep new clients around, which is point 7. So our number 7 out of 10 checklist of studio success is new client retention. So what is your new client retention? Know that number. So you can easily measure it. The best practice in terms of new client retention is to look at the people who purchased an introductory offer, and then within 3 months, some places use 2 months, but within no more than 3 months, did they buy something other than the introductory offer? So let's say they did your 1-month intro offer for classes, and then within 3 months, they purchased a membership or a private training package or anything else that's a service. Oops, I wouldn't include products on there. I would include, again, a service just like you are for your year-over-year retention. You want to aim for at least 40 to 60%, or in the range of 40 to 60% of people who buy the introductory offer sticking around and being retained. Of course, higher is better, but there are always, people try things. They might try you a few times, but in the end, it may not be the most convenient for their commute. It may be just not their thing. So you can't take it personally if they don't stick with you, but just try to drive that number up really high. One way to do that is to have a sales process. So if you've got a new client advisor, that's a great first step in having a solid sales process. But you want a sales process where you know consistently when you're going to email a new client during their intro offer, when you're going to call them, and what those emails say and what those conversations sound like as they get deeper and deeper into their intro offer. So initially, you really want to just be checking in with them, seeing how their experience was, offering them advice on if there's other classes or instructors they should try out. Later into the process, you're starting to talk about what your next steps are, what your regular pricing is, what your upsell offer is to get them to continue on. So you want to have a sales process. And part of having a sales process means that you have the right kind of pricing to sell and the right kind of course, the right kind of product to sell, going back to point 2 of what's your business, knowing your business. So point 8 is optimize your pricing. You want to make sure that you have, here we go, a compelling introductory offer. The offer should be not so low or so cheap compared to your regular pricing that people have sticker shock and just can't even consider going from your intro offer to your regular pricing. We also want your introductory offer to be low enough that it's attractive to people. People are accustomed to having an introductory offer in fitness. It's standard at this point, so you really want to have one that's in there. As I said before, a good place to start is about 50% off your regular pricing for a specific period of time. Ideally, your pricing will be based on having auto pay options. So if you offer classes, you really want to have at least 60% of your class-based revenue be based on an auto pay. Whether you call that an auto pay, a membership, a class subscription, whatever you want to call that, you want people to not have to think about paying you or think about buying the next package or think about how many sessions they have left. You want them just to only know they can come in and take a class and get benefits. It may not be for every business. So a lot of times auto pay packages, in the past they used to be primarily unlimited. Now there are a lot of auto pay systems where people have access to up to 4 classes per month, up to 8 classes per month. So really, at this point, every business should be able to make auto pay work for them. Even with appointment-based businesses, private training, things like that, you can set up auto pays to charge when somebody's down to 1 session or 0 sessions, or even have a monthly membership for private training that includes up to a certain number of sessions. You can definitely set it up that way. One thing that I would recommend is when you're looking at your pricing, you also want to consider that in the context of your class pay. So if you offer something that gives people unlimited access to classes, but you are paying your instructors on a per head basis, and your classes are filling up, you may end up paying more than you want to, or if you want to pay that much, you may be paying more than you can afford based upon the fixed membership income that you're getting. If you sell primarily packages, then a per head pay structure works great because as people use a package session, that's a specific amount of money you're getting for that class, so it's easier to use a per head system. So neither way is right or wrong, but you just want to consider your class pay structure and your private pay structure for that matter when you're looking at your pricing. All right, moving on to number 9. Number 9 in the top 10 checklist for studio success is to nurture your community of your team as well as your community of your clients as one whole community. So for your team, do team building, bring training into your business. If you can afford to pay for the training, make that a huge benefit that when people work for you, when they're part of your team, they learn new stuff. You take care of their continuing education credits. Again, it depends on your structure. I recommend having an employee structure versus an independent contractor structure. That definitely helps build a community. But if this fits, then I would do that. You can also do outside events, parties. Depending where you are, you can do hikes together, do beach games. There's a lot of things you can do that help build the team. The other thing within your business is to encourage your team to support each other, take each other's classes, talk each other up. Let your team know, and this is part of the great hiring process, that you don't tolerate divas. You don't want divas on your team. You want a team of people who could be divas but aren't, because there's no oxygen for that. You want people to support each other, to love talking about how great somebody else's classes are. If you do that, you're going to build up your entire business, which will help everybody. Everybody's classes will be more full. Your clients will know that there's a lot of camaraderie, and people like that. It'll be a really positive environment. Leave the drama on the freeway if you're anywhere that has horrible traffic, which is, I think, everywhere these days. And then finally, on nurturing your community, you also want to nurture your client community. So that could be in engaging on social media with them, bring them into the fold, make them part of the team in a way that doesn't feel like it's us and them. Of course, there's going to be things that are specific to your theme, to your team members. There's stuff you're not going to share with your clients necessarily, but you do want to make sure that they feel like they're really a big part of your business and that they're sort of on the inside. They're kind of, they get it. You get them, they get you, because they're spending a lot of time at your business. If they're coming a few times a week, you're a big part of their life. All right, number 10 of our checklist of studio success is love the business of running your business. You're probably not in business to be running a business. You're probably in business to help people with their lives, with their health, with their fitness levels, with their bodies. But in the end, you've got to love the business of running your business. It's a puzzle. It can be super fun. When you put all the pieces together and it works well, it's so rewarding. It makes it actually really easy. And then you set it all up and you put a little bit of time and attention into it, and you actually end up with a really strong foundation for everything else that you want to do. If you don't spend the time on learning the aspects of running a business, you'll end up lurching from crisis to crisis, or just being super frustrated and having no time for yourself or for your clients. So one way of knowing what you're doing is to use KPIs, key performance indicators. These are like the dashboard of your car. So you want to make sure you know excuse me, which things you're going to measure, what those ideal numbers are, and look at them on a regular basis. Some of them may be daily, some monthly, some annual, but make sure you know what they are and track those. That'll give you the confidence to know how your business is running. It'll help you see potential problems as they start to emerge and before they become a crisis, and it'll help you find opportunities based upon using your data. So just remember, the better you run your business, the more lives you're going to change. You're going to change your clients' lives for sure. You're going to give them an amazing, positive, long-term place to work out, and your team as well. You're going to give them a great livelihood, a place to work, and a lot of fun to boot. So I hope you'll use this checklist. It's a real brief recap of most of the topics, perhaps all the topics that we covered during the last several weeks of Business Matters. If you would like a refresher on any of these, or if you don't know at all what I'm talking about when I talk about retention or KPIs, go back to the Business Matters library on johngarytv.com. If you're not a member of johngarytv.com, we've got a 14-day free trial. So check us out, and you can go back and watch all of these segments. And if you've got any other questions, remember to email me at info@johngarytv.com. So we're signing off for a few weeks with Business Matters. We'll be back later in the summer. So until then, again, send me an email if you've got any questions or any topics you want me to cover in the future. But I really have enjoyed sharing some of the information that I know about how to run a successful business here and helping you run successful businesses. So go out, prosper in your business, use this checklist, have an awesome summer, and I'll talk to you in a couple months. Bye, everybody.